All right, let's just go ahead and jump into some introductions so we can be mindful of time. Again, you're joining our member school webinar series. This is the third one that we have in our whole series for the year, where you get to meet three different schools on every virtual event in a low pressure way. All of our admissions officers are here to share more about their programs, their consortium communities, and answer questions that you may have. So please make sure to use the Q&A box to ask those questions as we go through our presentation. I'll introduce myself. I'll ask all of our panelists to introduce themselves as well. And then in terms of agenda, I'm going to start off by sharing a brief overview of the consortium. I have a couple of slides. We'll spend about the first 10 to 15 minutes sharing more about our mission, our application process, and then we'll ask each school to share a little bit about their programs as well. So quick introduction on my end. My name is Michelle Pava. I'm the Vice President of Recruitment and Admissions here at the Consortium for Graduate Study and Management. I've been here for about 6 months now. And prior to this, I did spend close to 5 years with the Michigan Ross full-time MBA team, working with Johnny on the diversity recruitment. And I am not biased, love Ross, but love all 22 member schools equally. And so I'm very happy to be on this side now where I get to increase access to education more broadly and hopefully help you all navigate the business education space. So with that, I will ask Brad, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Cool, cool. Well, you had fun working with Johnny, but we worked together first, Michelle. It's okay. But my name is Brad Rosenwinkel. I'm the Senior Associate Director of Admissions and Financial Aid here at Indiana University's Kelley School of Business, and happy to be here with you all tonight.
All right, Johnny.
Hey everyone, I'm Johnny Horn, Senior Associate Director at Michigan Ross. Fun fact, Michelle hired me almost 2 years ago in September, and now I'm on my own. And yeah, it's going good so far. So great to be here. Can't wait to talk later.
Thanks. And then Shirley, why don't you go next to go with Ross?
Hi, good evening, everybody. I am a rising MBA 2 over at Ross. Came in through Consortium. Very excited to speak with you all today. And yeah, happy to be here.
And last but not least, Rhonda.
Hi, everyone. My name is Rhonda Remy. I serve as the Director of MBA Recruitment and Diversity Partnerships at Georgetown University, McDonough School of Business. Thank you all for being here this evening.
Awesome. All right. So with that, let's go ahead and jump into the presentation that we have today. Hopefully you'll learn a little bit more about the consortium and get excited to apply through us this upcoming application season. So starting off with our mission, the Consortium for Graduate Study and Management, we're a growing and evolving alliance of some of the world's leading business schools and corporate partners. We have a strong network of current students. So we have a little over 600 students in our current class, a little over 800 in our prior class, and we have over 12,000 alums that make up our community. And our goal is to help increase access and representation in the future in business education to mold leaders that will represent us in global businesses after graduation. And so our overall goal, again, is to expand access and increase representation in business education and leadership. So we are looking for students of all backgrounds. A common question we always get is, what kind of experience are you looking for? Are you focused on business education because you're in the graduate education space? And the answer is no. We're just looking for leaders who have made an impact in their community, whatever that may look like. So we're industry agnostic. Maybe you're somebody who was deeply involved, whether you were in the academic, professional, or personal space in different mission aligned organizations that can include, but again, are not limited to ones like NSBE, NABA, Alpha, or some common ones we see. Teach for America is another great example of a mission aligned organization. We also have a lot of applicants who come from HBCUs or HSIs, or maybe from fraternity or sororities that are, again, involved with activities that are aligned with our mission. And we also welcome a lot of people from entrepreneurial backgrounds or just people who have taken on informal roles in whether it's your professional or academic space where you've mentored others. And again, help to increase access and representation in your respective spaces. So to recap, I want to make sure everyone knows that We are industry agnostic. We're looking for people who are interested in pursuing higher education, who are leaders in their respective communities and have made an impact to help expand access for others. So a little bit about our history. We were founded by Sterling Shane in 1966. So we are celebrating our 60th anniversary. And we just came off of our annual conference that we host every year. This year it was in Seattle. It was 2 weeks ago. We celebrated our 60th anniversary in person, welcoming our cohort of over 600 consortium fellows. All of the admissions officers that are here with you today were there as well with their classes. And so it was a very exciting time. But the consortium was founded by Washington University's Professor Sterling Shane. He wanted to make an impact on the gap in equal opportunity employment. So he created a consortium of leading universities that were made up of Indiana Kelley, which is here with us today, the Washington University in St. Louis, of course, and then the Wisconsin School of Business. And the initial mission was to give African American men the business skills and access needed to secure leadership positions in American organizations. Of course, over the years, our mission has evolved and it grew to include women, Hispanic Americans, and Native Americans after 1970. And now we are happy and pleased to welcome US citizens and permanent residents of all backgrounds that demonstrate an alignment to our mission. We also welcome DACA applicants, but that is dependent on school policies, so just keep that in mind. We've also grown over the years. We have 22 member schools in our network, again, over 12,000 alums, and we support traditional 2-year full-time MBA programs at our member schools. So keep that in mind for all of our member schools except Emory, which they also have the 1-year program in our portfolio of member schools. All of these schools that you see are a 2-year traditional full-time MBA program. Okay, so a little bit about our fellow eligibility. If you're here today, it's important for you to know that if you want to apply through our consortium application, again, you must be a US citizen, a permanent resident, or a DACA applicant. Again, everyone is welcome to apply regardless of your race or your ethnicity. We are really just looking for a consistent alignment to our mission. And then in terms of accreditations, we're looking for you to hold a 4-year bachelor's degree at the time of when you would start your program. So let's say you're someone who doesn't graduate until May with your bachelor's degree, depending on the policy and requirement of the school, we will allow you to apply as long as you complete it ahead of enrolling in the graduate program. And last but not least, the mission, we are looking for someone, if you're someone who's had an impact internationally, we're looking for you to continue that domestically. And so our mission is aligned to our domestic population, where we want to see how you would increase access and representation to under-resourced communities within our domestic, United States. And then when it comes to our fellowship process, this is something that often confuses people. So it's kind of a 2-step process. The way it works is that we have one streamlined application that I'll get into in just a moment, but it's 2 separate decisions that are being made. And so the first one is the consortium membership decision, where individual from the schools you apply to, we are going to review your application. We're going to read your essays, your mission recommendation, and we're going to say, does this person demonstrate a consistent alignment to our mission? If so, we will grant you membership into the consortium. Separately, we're also providing all the schools you apply to the application materials for that respective school, and they're reviewing that independently of us and determining if they will grant you admission into their program. So if you are granted admission into the consortium and to at least one of our member schools, then you become a consortium fellow. And what that means is that you become eligible for consortium funding, which is a separate and individual decision made by each of our member schools. And the great thing about that is that there is no limit on the amount of member schools that can offer you consortium funding. And so you really want to make sure that you are putting your best foot forward to each school that you're applying to, because they have the autonomy to offer you anywhere from partial to full tuition scholarship funding. And so A plus B equals C, quick second here. If you're, granted access to the consortium and to one of our member schools, you are then a consortium fellow. So some of the benefits I want to spend a moment on here is really granting you access is our whole mission. I see access here through three pillars. The first one is granting you access to a network. So we offer you connections to Fortune 500 companies. You're going to be part of a community of MBA students that extend beyond your program. So think about having a network that extends into 22 member schools. These are going to be your future colleagues, your community. And then after you graduate, you're joining a powerful network of alums that expand over 12,000. Another access opportunity is the funding piece. So as a consortium fellow, again, you may be eligible for full or partial tuition funding opportunities. And then last but not least, what I was alluding to earlier is that annual orientation program and career forum. That's a opportunity we offer you before you even step foot on campus, where you're able to connect for 4 days with employers, with your cohorts, and get access to early internship opportunities. And so access to OP is a very powerful tool as well that will give you early internship opportunities. Now, moving into our application itself, the way it works is that applying to our membership, to our consortium, I don't know why I'm stumbling over that, as well as to one program would be $150, and then it's $50 for each additional program you want to apply to. There's no cap on the number of programs that you can apply to through us. And so by applying through us, you get to save time and money because we do have a streamlined application that I'll go through in just a moment. Another awesome thing about us is that you can focus on only our deadlines. So it doesn't matter which programs you're applying to. You're going to say, Michelle, Indiana Kelley has a different deadline. What do I do? It doesn't matter. All you have to do is focus on our two deadlines. And so think of October 15th as being like the round one traditional deadline, and January 5th is your traditional round two deadline. So as long as you apply by these two, we will go ahead and aggregate your materials and send it over to each of the schools that you've applied to, and they'll review and release interview decisions and their decision releases at the same time as their own individual respective deadlines. And FYI, our application always opens on August 15th. Ahead of every application deadline, check your emails. We always have a big application virtual launch where we invite all of our programs, our strategic partners, and you can have a big networking event ahead of the application launching August 15th. And then to give you a little overview of what our application actually looks like, it's similar to applying through the Common App if you use that in undergrad. So you have a one-stop shop where we're going to ask you some core questions as part of our core material. So we'll ask you, to provide your resume. We have some essays as well that ask you consortium-specific questions, and then you move into each program material. So what you would do is select the programs you want to apply to, and then every year we do collect the materials from each of our member schools, and we make sure that we are capturing what they're asking in their individual applications in our application as well. So you don't have to worry about answering their application and then ours. We do everything through our streamlined application. A little bit about our mission essays. We're looking for commitment, consistency. So we have a couple of core essays that you can see here. The first one is going to ask you about your short and long-term goals post MBA. And then we do have some required mission essays as well that ask how you've demonstrated, a commitment to increasing access and representation. What are you planning to do as a leader on campus to continue that mission and beyond? So it doesn't have to be, what you think we want to hear or business aligned. It has to be something you're passionate about. And we're really looking for that authenticity. And then as part of the program materials for each member school, you'll also be required to answer their school specific essays. And then we also have an optional essay where if you have an employment gap or maybe a lower test score that you'd like to talk about, it's something you can elaborate on there. And then another great thing for you guys to know is that applying through the consortium means that you have streamlined letters of recommendation. So by applying through us, you don't have to ask your recommender to fill out a specific recommendation for every school you apply to. Instead, we aggregate it through our streamlined application and we'll release all of them to the schools that you apply to. So our requirements here is we're asking for one mission recommendation and two professional recs. And so for the mission rec, it doesn't have to be a supervisor or a leader in your organization. It needs to be an objective third party that can speak specifically to your volunteerism and your organizational involvement. So make sure you're coaching your mission recommender to talk about that as much as you're coaching your professional recommenders to talk about your experience and the impact that you've made in your organization. And nearing the end here, this is what it will look like once you start your application. You're going to have a status page that will guide you through the process. So you're going to see, have we received your test scores? Have we received your recommendation letters? And then as you near completion, we'll let you know that we've received everything. And on the application deadline, we'll go ahead and disperse your materials to the schools. And that's it. So that's a little bit about us. I hope that you'll stay connected. So when our application launches, you can attend our office hours and get the coaching and guidance you need to put your best foot forward. With that, member school webinars are just a little hors d'oeuvre of what we have to offer. Our MAPS events are really the main attraction of our recruitment event. So our MAPS events, which have been published all except for Chicago, are live on our events website. And I encourage you all to come out to a recruitment event. They're hosted by our member schools. Our first one is going to be in Atlanta on August 25th. We're also going to DC, New York. Georgetown is hosting us in DC and LA, San Francisco. And so it's a great way to meet with us and all of our schools in person, meet each other, and really just get that in-person interaction. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and ask Johnny to take over and start sharing your screen. Tell us a little bit more about Ross. And I can't, hold on, Johnny. I see your screen, but I can't see you. So let me get in here. Okay.
You should be able to see me now. Hey, everyone.
Yep.
Thanks, Michelle, for that overview, and so excited to talk a little bit about Ross. I am a little bit under the weather, so if I sound a little nasally, that's why. But I promise I'll give you my best. To get right into it, I do want to allow Shirley to tell you a little bit more about herself. I'm joined by a fabulous MBA 2, a rising MBA 2, and she's going to be co-presenting with me a little bit. So Shirley, do you want to talk a little bit more about your Ross experience?
Hi, everyone. Oh, go Orange. Okay. Yeah. I went to Syracuse undergrad, as maybe some of you can tell based on the comment. But yeah, I completed my first year at Ross. Living in Ann Arbor, coming from New York is an adjustment. And every place that I have gotten a degree has been a little bit cold. So I think it's almost a trend at this point. If I go get a degree, I do it in a cold place. And what I will say is that Ann Arbor is a unique place because everyone really comes together for that specific reason to get their degree or to do something research related with the university. And because of that, I will say that my Ross experience, when I look across the US at other MBA programs, I can tell that we have a very open, tight-knit experience, and I'm very grateful for that. So I just wanted to give you a little sliver of what it might be like to enjoy student life at Ross.
Awesome. Thanks, Shirley. And we'll come back to you a little bit later to hear how your internship is going. But to get started, I always like to start with the differentiators, right? I know you're all looking at several programs. Three great options are on the call tonight. So to help you visualize how Ross may be a little bit different, about 95% of our students are career changers. So that means they are either switching industry or function coming into the MBA program. And so that really informs how our curriculum is designed, right? It's a 2-year program, so it goes by really fast. In the first year, we aim to give you all the experience that you need to have a solid business foundation heading into your internship. So you'll do all of your core curriculum, including our MAP project, which I'll talk about here in a little bit in the next slide. And then your MBA 2 year is more exploratory, where you can take elective courses, add classes at Ross or outside of Ross. We allow our students to take up to 9 credits, I believe, at a school outside of business. So if there are other topics that you're interested in, as you can see, Ross or the university has 117 top ranked grad programs. If you're interested in having an experience outside of Ross, you have that opportunity to do so. Speaking of those 117 grad programs, we do offer 22 established dual degree programs. So if you are someone with multiple interests, you're really interested in getting not only a business education, but maybe a science-based education or a policy or law-based education, there's an opportunity for that. Our largest dual degree program is with our School of Environment and Sustainability, or SEAS. We have our Herb Institute that kind of brings both programs together. But again, there's 21 other options. We also have 6 concentrations, including a new AI concentration that was established this year. So there's definitely a lot of opportunity to customize your degree based on your interest. Our network is definitely a differentiator. If you know anyone who is affiliated with the University of Michigan, for one, they probably have yelled "Go Blue" at you, no matter what. So maybe we'll get one of those in the chat today. But I think beyond that, right? Shirley kind of alluded to it. Ann Arbor is a really special place. And so everyone is united by that shared experience. There's definitely this mindset of Michigan versus everybody. That's how I like to describe it. Where in recruiting and beyond, everyone really has each other's backs. And you really see that come out in a lot of different ways. And then finally here, I'd like to talk a little bit about ROI because I think that's huge, right? With an MBA program, this degree is an investment for your future, right? And it's not just your short-term future, which I'm happy to share. Ross grads definitely feel like we prepare them for that short-term career goal based on that #1 AIMS achieved ranking. But I think it's beyond that, right? 10 years down the road, 15 years down the road, your Ross MBA is going to, give you a lot of returns that you may not have ever imagined. And so when you're going throughout this process, I highly encourage you to think about it as not just the next 2 years, but your entire lifetime. I mentioned this before, and I think I skipped this on the last slide, but one of the differentiators at Ross is our action-based learning opportunities. That is our curriculum style that comes out in a lot of different ways. The MAP project is our signature program, which is essentially a 7-week team-based consulting project where you and about 5 or 6 of your classmates will be tasked with solving a business challenge that a real company is experiencing, right? We have anywhere between 75 to 90 sponsoring projects each year. The projects are new every year. So while you can take a look at old projects on the website, know that the MAP team does a great job of keeping them current. So the challenges that you're facing are definitely very relevant to the current market and problems that businesses are facing. I think it's also important to mention that our sponsors do have some skin in the game when it comes to these MAP projects, right? They're not a simulation, but an actual real world challenge that they're looking for solutions for. And so they pay to sponsor projects and they really do expect results from our teams. So there's a lot of opportunity here to really put everything that you've learned in your first year to practice with the MAP, which is conveniently right before you start your summer internship. Our sponsors do range in organizational type. We have corporate sponsors as the majority, but we also have a good number of nonprofit and government agency sponsors. About 10% are startups each year. And many of them are international as well. So MAP is a great opportunity to travel on the sponsoring company's dime. So Shirley, I don't know if you want to, like, in 30 seconds, tell us a little bit about your MAP project.
Yeah, so I opted for more domestic projects, but several of my friends went to India for weeks, had an amazing time, and I think for my specific MAP project, it was extremely helpful to get a sense of what corporate America at large global companies look like, being that I'm an industry switcher, right? So coming from higher education to working with a global organization, it really helped me now in my current internship at Samsung.
Awesome. Thanks, Shirley. Um, I think we talked about this a little bit already with our alumni network. We're all over. We always scream, "Go Blue, go anywhere," meaning that although we're located in Midwest town in Michigan, that does not negatively impact your job opportunities post-graduation. As you can see, the majority of our students end up on the East Coast or the West Coast, followed by Chicago at about 16%. We also have some top employers listed, a lot of the top consulting companies, Amazon, Bank of America, Dell, PepsiCo, the list goes on and on. So know that with Ross, we're preparing you to go wherever you see your career going. I think our career development support is top tier as far as preparing students for those internships and hopefully full-time job offers after graduation. We have our FACT groups, which are functional accountability career teams that are peer-led support groups that take you through a curriculum to prepare you for the recruiting and the recruiting process in whatever your desired field is. So you're meeting with them weekly, doing mock interviews, casing, your refining your resume, and then they kind of turn into a support group as you navigate the recruiting process because it can be very stressful, right? While you're juggling everything else that life has to offer, you'll also have a professional career coach through the career development office and your career club to support you. So all of those things add together to give you the career outcomes that you're looking at now. I won't spend a lot of time on this slide because we've already talked about how awesome Ann Arbor is. Yes, it does get a little bit cold, but it's hot right now. It's the summertime. We do get all 4 seasons. Campus is beautiful. I would say Ann Arbor would not be what it is without the university and vice versa. So you really do see that dynamic come into play. Shirley alluded to this earlier, but I like to call the experience the Ross Retreat, where many of our students leave their big metro areas for 2 years. They're really focused on building their connections and their relationships with their peers. We especially see that amongst our consortium fellows, and then you're back to your metro area for the rest of your life if you choose to do so. So Ann Arbor is the perfect backdrop for that. Speaking of the consortium fam, I think it's important for us to mention that Ross has been a member of the consortium since 1983. So we're some of the oldest members of the consortium. We have the largest consortium alumni base, so our network is really strong and mighty. And what I love about our consortium fellows is that beyond, all the impressive accomplishments that they have coming in, they really step it up when it comes to their campus leadership and the roles that they hold. About 75% of them hold a leadership role in a club, center, or institute. 2 of our 5 section presidents, which is basically your family within the class for your first year, are consortium fellows as well. So you can really see that our consortium fellows are really involved. I like to say that they're the culture makers at Ross. They play a huge role in how things work, how excited, how well things are ran at the university. Quickly, I'll go through the application process. Michelle gave you the overview, so of course you have to satisfy all of the consortium requirements. On the Ross specific section, we are looking for, something to help us judge your quantitative readiness. So that can be the GMAT, GRE, or executive assessment. In place of a test score, you can also submit a statement of quantitative academic readiness where you note your past quantitative experiences academically, courses that you've taken, certificates that you've earned, or license that you hold. And then any other quantitative or analytical coursework can be included in that statement. We do have two short answer essays. One is a Ross specific career goal essay, and then the other is a community impact essay. Those two are changing this year. So within the next week or so, that info will be available on our website, and we'll have more guidance on what we're looking for with those essays. But really, we're hoping for you to really indicate why you're pursuing your MBA, why you're interested in Ross, and how you'll show up as a community member. We'll review both letters of recommendation that you'll submit with your consortium app, your resume, and then interviews are by invite only. So we'll do an initial view of your application and then extend an invitation to interview after that. They're virtual 45-minute behavioral interviews. And then as far as scholarships go, all candidates are considered for scholarship at time of admission. They typically range from $10,000 to full tuition. With that, all of our candidates applying through the consortium are considered for all merit scholarships offered at Ross as well. So no worries there. There's nothing additional that you need to do. I do encourage you to check out our website to learn more about our scholarships. So if there is something like our Health Innovators scholarship designation that you're interested in, you can speak to that in your application. And I think that's pretty much it. I have a couple of ways for you to stay connected. Our big fall visit weekend, Women's Weekend and Up Close is coming up in October. So please join us for that if you can. Our application for that should be live in July, hopefully. That's what we're aiming for. Without further ado, I think I'll turn it over to Rhonda from Georgetown.
Thank you. Let me share my screen. Second. Awesome. I hope you all can see my screen.
We sure can. Yes.
Okay, perfect. So hi, everyone. Again, my name is Rhonda Remy. I serve as the Director of MBA Recruitment and Partnerships here at McDonough School of Business. Thrilled to talk to you about our McDonough MBA and our vibrant consortium community. I do serve as the consortium admissions advisor. So if you have any questions or applying through the consortium, please let me know. I hope to continue this conversation after this call on the road at various events, like any MLTers on the call. Hopefully we can continue this conversation this Sunday at the prep seminar. And to any of our fathers joining that event, happy Father's Day in advance. So there are different ways that I like to talk about why Georgetown, but I think I narrowed it down to these three top areas, our pillars. One being the global business mindset and why that it's important to us here at Georgetown. So our business school looks to develop global business leaders. With that, you are surrounded by a community that is deeply international in composition, whether both professionally or personally. We prioritize bringing together individuals from diverse global backgrounds so that when you face a business challenge, you aren't looking at it through the lens of how you do business here in the United States, but through exposure of various business models tested around the world through our community. A top skill that we prioritize developing in our students, we want to ensure that you are culturally competent. So you'll have opportunities to test those skills and learn more about the global business landscape in classroom settings through our experiential learning immersion trip opportunities. So our university is located in DC, and there is an advantage in being in DC besides all the noise that you hear now. But in DC, you have access to an incredibly high concentration of global organizations headquarters. So I like to think of the intersection between business and policy, but just knowing that business shapes policy and vice versa. So most of the top Fortune 500 companies have a headquarters in DC. And for our students, they're able to leverage that proximity by engaging with the industries ranging from policy, government, to trade, to tech, hospitality, finance, innovation, consulting, to name a few. Recruiting is made easier for you all. You have access to all of these companies on campus or at their headquarters. So it is easy to just quickly get on our GUTS shuttle bus, which is free for our students to attend coffee chats, the opportunity to learn from industry leaders as keynote speakers on campus, etc. If you know anything about the DC area, you know that it is a highly walkable, vibrant global city as well. So you can easily navigate throughout the DC, Northern Virginia, and certain parts of Maryland area, which allows the entire city to kind of be your extended campus. You are also close in distance to other large metropolitan cities like Philly, which is only an hour and a half on the Amtrak, and New York, which is 3.5 hours. Let's go Knicks for any Knicks fans here. Had to say that. Shout out to Brooklyn, New York. So then the last but not least, principal leadership. We are an institution with a Jesuit heritage, and one of our values calls for us to be people for others. So, this means we don't just train you to succeed as a individual, but we challenge you to consider the broader impact that you would have as a business leader, as a person, as a citizen, in your community, and so on. So for example, we have our own pro bono consulting firm, where we work with multiple small business owners throughout the DMV area. So through this program, our students are able to serve as consultants to these small businesses, but they're also coached and trained by our BCG senior consultant partners. So how do you maximize the full-time MBA? There are multiple ways that you can do that. One being through our study abroad program, where you can go around the world, and some of our schools are here, but there is a long list of schools that we partner with so that you can expand your global perspective. Additionally, we have some dual degree options in collaboration with other schools within the Georgetown ecosystem. I would say our most popular one is our MBA JD and our MBA MPP program. We do get quite a few folks that are interested also in foreign service and the School of Medicine too. And through the many centers and initiatives, they offer you opportunities like research assistant positions, industry-focused career recruitment opportunities, and just overall exposure to our partnerships throughout the DC area and globally as well. The highlight of our program, I'd mentioned earlier about the global mindset, the experience, but it comes to life through our global business experience, which is a required course for all students. It's kind of like your capstone project, where you are on an international consulting project. You're paired with one of our global partners to answer any business problem that they are sharing with you all. So you're not just learning from textbooks, case studies, or things of that nature. You are actually on the ground with some of these large companies in various cities around the world. This also gives you exposure to companies if anyone is interested in working abroad as well. Our alumni network is strong and highly involved in our community and program. I have not yet heard a story where a student connected with an alum and was turned away. Our alumni definitely believe in paying it forward and offer their time and resources in many ways, such as our internal case competition, which is part of one of your final courses in leadership communication, to career coaching and mentorship, and then also being a part of the classroom through like guest speakers or just providing some lectures and such. Another value of ours is being a community that celebrates diversity. So we have strategically partnered with organizations like the Consortium to offer access into our programs. So with these organizations, we have the opportunity to provide scholarships, right? Like the Consortium Fellowship. You have access to various professional development outside of what we offer you here at Georgetown. And also you're a part of a like-minded community. The legacy of our consortium fellows here at Georgetown is that of leadership. So our fellows take on leadership roles in various ways and somewhat and most of our popular student clubs and organizations or highly regarded student-led positions. So I don't expect anything less from consortium fellows that are coming through consortium and into our programs. We expect you all to be leaders. This is what supported your consortium application and membership into the organization. So we hope that you continue that here at McDonough. And these are our recently appointed liaisons, all coming from various industries. So you can connect with them after their summer internships to learn more about our community here. A quick snapshot of our last class. As I mentioned, for like our global perspective and our view on just being global business leaders, it's all about the composition of our students, staff, and faculty. So just showing you how many countries are represented in our full-time MBA program, where people are coming from as far as undergrad field of study, the split between international, domestic, etc. And this can be found on our website as well. Our admissions process is a holistic approach. So all of your materials are gathered by the consortium. We will review those. I wanted to talk a little bit more about the test scores. We do accept the EA, we do accept the GRE and the GMAT. One thing I will mention, we do have a test waiver policy. You do have to apply for the test waiver. And if you do get the test waiver, you can add that to your consortium application. So keep that in mind as you're going through the consortium application. Besides the consortium fellowship that is offered through our university, there are multiple scholarships on our website, all merit-based, right? And some of them are theme-based too. So if you do get into our program, you are identified for any scholarship that is available, but it's all based off of merit and on your application. And again, you can see the full list on our website. So that's all from me. Multiple ways that you can connect. If you have any questions, again, I am the consortium person here at Georgetown. And yeah, Hoya Saxa. And now I'm turning it over to Brad from Kelley.
Cool. Well, happy to see everybody here. I'm going to try not to be repetitive because I think there's a lot of things that you'll find similar across our programs tonight, but across a lot of the top programs that you're looking at. So I'm going to run through kind of our spiel pretty quickly, but I want to give you some sort of color commentary along the way, as some of my colleagues will say that I tend to do every now and then there as well. So again, Brad Rosenwinkel from the Kelley School. Here, one of the big differentiators for us is the way we start the program. We don't have traditional orientation. We have a program called Meet Inc. And this is something that we start working with you before you get to campus in the summer. You'll have some self-paced deliverables through Canvas online, those different types of things that you're working on. Really focusing on a lot of the things that you're thinking about now. Why an MBA? Why business school? What do you want to get out of this? Where do you see yourself going? How does this all fit together? Those different types of things. How do you translate your previous experience into, future opportunities? All of that stuff and more there as well. So we'll start working with you on some of those things, laying the groundwork over the summer. And then we actually require our students to be on campus the 1st of August. And we spend that first 3 weeks of August really going through what I call a professional development boot camp, which is, again, focused on you before we get into classes, before you get overwhelmed with all extracurriculars and companies and recruiting and all of those different types of things. We want to take 3 weeks and really step back and say, why are you here? What do you want to get out of this? Put together a strategic plan for you to be successful in the next 2 years rather than just go to business school and hope that it works out. There's a lot more to Me Inc. You can learn more about it on our website, there too, but that's kind of the high level crux of it. And then we get into the end of August. Our students will start classes typically that last Monday in August. As most schools do, you have a foundational core. You start with your first semester, semester and a half, and then you have your customizable concentrations on top of that you can dig into. The MBA is a very versatile degree. No matter which program you go to, you can dig into, one specific area and focus on that. But the beauty of an MBA is you don't have to just say, hey, this is my major. Those are all the classes I'm going to take, similar to what you might have done in undergrad. It's very different where we're more focused at the graduate level on what are the gaps you want to fill in? What are the areas you want to brush up on? What is that new knowledge base that you want to build? And pick and choose individual classes and really piece that together there as well. So you see our list of majors, minors, certificates. There's all different sorts of electives across the program there as well. Differing from academics, don't get caught up on this. This slide says academies. These are our practical hands-on experiences, the actual practical application of what you're learning. You're going to have class Monday through Thursday, as you do at most business schools. You're learning the theory, the textbook knowledge. You have the accounting and finance and ops and strategy and whatever else classes that you're taking that term. On Fridays in the first year, we have what are called Academy Fridays. So you have guest lecturers, speakers, executives, alumni coming in, sharing their perspectives about, their company, talking more about what they do in that career path, how to be successful, real life situations too. What does it take? How do you manage different brands within a company as you grow your career in brand management? What does it take to be successful as a consultant, and how much travel is really involved? How many hours do you really have to work as investment banking? Is it really as strenuous as everybody talks about? How does the recruiting process work for different industries? So really giving you insight into understanding, what these different paths are, as well as, what you're getting yourself into. You'll also have Academy Week in October. Company treks is often what they're referred to as at business schools, where you're going and visiting a number of different companies, depending on your academy there as well. And then in your second semester, that spring semester of your first year, you're going to participate, have a required academy project. That's a real life hands-on project there as well, where you're going and working with a company, addressing something that they currently face. And oftentimes our students have to sign NDAs, so we can't provide too many specific examples of what the projects are because they're real-time things. But you're going to be sitting down with executives and they're going to lay out the project for the company. It's a great opportunity for them to get in front of you, to get ideas and recommendations from up and coming business leaders. Maybe they have some of their own teams and people working on it, but they want a new perspective outside of the company. Or maybe they just don't have the capacity within their organization and they rely on our students to help provide those recommendations there as well. So really cool hands-on opportunities there in that first year. Here you see the list of our career academies. The first year academies at the top, you see 5 of them there. Business marketing, consumer marketing, the difference between the two, B2B, B2C, capital markets, investment banking, strategic finance, and then strategy and operations covers quite a bit. Could be supply chain, could be consulting, could be a lot of different types of things in between, general management basis there. So each student will have one foundational academy in that first year that you'll choose at the end of Me Inc. You don't have to know this now. We ask in our supplemental portion of the application with the consortium which ones you're interested in, but you're not tied to that. That's simply for us to start to gauge what the interest level is going to be and plan ahead with faculty. But then you also have these second year skill development academies that are optional that you can add on top in your second year to that first year experience. I think the first year academies as what do you want to do immediately post business school or in your internship? What does that career path, kind of that first step look like? I think of the second year skill development academies as what are the softer skills, or maybe in terms of AI, hard skills that you want to layer on top of that functional direction there as well. So it's sort of skill development. And then we also have an industry exposure academy in the life sciences because fun fact, about a third of the life sciences products and services in the US flow through the state of Indiana. So we have a lot of opportunities there. International experiences, we all sort of highlighted them quickly. We have study abroad programs. We participate in the Washington campus program if you're interested in the intersection of policy and business. We also have the cornerstone of our international programs is a program called Globase, which is Global Business and Social Enterprise. Opportunity to go and work with small, medium, maybe family-run businesses, startup businesses in emerging economies around the world. So maybe it's working with a small family-run lodging hospitality business in Indonesia and how to attract and grow their business there, specifically in Bali, for example. That was a project our students worked on this last year. Maybe it's a microfinancing project in Botswana. Maybe it's a healthcare project in Ghana. Maybe it's a telecom project in Argentina. Those are just a couple of examples that some of our students have worked on in the last couple of years. Those are optional, but typically over half of our students participate in that there each year. And then outcomes, can't have a business school presentation without numbers, data, outcomes here as well. So one slide, all the data for you that you probably are looking for. We are very proud of our students. They do very well. Most MBA students do, despite the headlines today. But our 90-day offer rate for our class of 2025, the latest data that we have, was 92%, one of the highest in the country. Average starting compensation, just above 160. And the alumni network, I have two numbers there. We have 137,000 alumni just within the Kelley School of Business, and we have over 900,000 alumni at Indiana University. Those are both the largest in the world, business school network as well as university network there as well. All functions, industries represented. You see that there, a pretty good balance across functions, industries as well. And then regionally, like most of us, our bread and butter is in our backyard. So we have about half of our students, typically about the 40 to 50% of our students that are in the Midwest, central part of the United States. And then about a quarter on the West Coast and the East Coast, if you kind of combine those numbers there together from the West to the Southwest and the Northeast down to the Southeast along those lines. We'll talk about the application process. I think Michelle did a good job there, but merit-based scholarships. All students are automatically considered at the time of admission. It's primarily driven by your academic potential. There's no separate application. Most of our awards are $15,000 to $30,000 per year. And I want to note our tuition number, big scary number, $58,000. But it is one of the lowest of the top programs in the U.S. and we're excited about that. Our tuition has been frozen for several years. The state of Indiana has said they're going to keep that flat, there as well. And being in Bloomington, Indiana, small college town, about 80,000 people in South Central Indiana. We're not a major metropolitan area, which some people view as maybe a negative. But I think as you talk to our current students and alumni, they view it as a positive. The cost of living is low, the tuition is low. You get a lot of the similar opportunities. Very few of our students, if any, are staying in South Central Indiana. Most of them are going all across the country, as I shared on the previous slide, to all different companies, all different things. Bloomington and IU is a great place to come, focus on yourself, focus on your career for 2 years, not spend as much money, and then go back and get that great paying job there as well. And as others have mentioned, I know Ross and McDonough both, we see each other overlap quite a bit in terms of the consortium, Forte, reaching out, all of those different types of things there as well. Ways to stay in touch with us here, definitely check us out, our websites, meet us in person or on campus or near you. Much like my colleagues here, we get to see each other on the road as we travel across the globe and the country. I know for us, this next month we'll be in DC, in New York, and in Chicago. And then we're going to be hitting most of the U.S. major metropolitan areas this fall in the September, October timeframe there as well. So definitely connect with us. Our current students, we have student ambassadors. They're hosting coffee chats throughout this month, throughout the summer. So check out our website and you'll find an opportunity to connect with our current students over the summer as they're doing their internship. You'll also find our list of our student ambassadors where you can just reach out, set up time to connect with them throughout the year there as well. So that's my quick spiel on Kelley. I just want to close with, if the consortium is something that aligns with your your beliefs, your values, the things that you've done in your life, in your career. Definitely take advantage of it, regardless of the schools that you might be considering. You'll find a great group of schools affiliated and as members of the consortium. I've been affiliated with the consortium now for, oh gosh, it's going on 20 years. It's hard to say that, but it is. And Michelle's laughing because she makes fun of me for being the old guy. But yes, definitely take advantage of the benefits of the consortium. The network you get is not just the network of the school that you may attend, but the exponential network across all member schools there as well, and the companies and the corporate partners there. You'll have that through your individual school, but it only takes on another level, a deeper level of relationship with those companies and with those alumni within the consortium family across schools there as well. So wish you all the best. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm going to toss it back to Michelle.
Thank you. And thank you, everyone. As if you weren't able to notice, we are a tight-knit community amongst our admissions officers and our member schools as well. We're all here to support you on your journey. I do know we have some questions we weren't able to answer in the chat. I encourage you to attend individual information sessions to learn more for each of our member schools and their curriculums. But to answer the last question, I do see really quickly, the consortium supports full-time MBA programs across our 22 member schools and only Emory's full-time and 1-year MBA program. So with that, thank you, Johnny, Rhonda, Brad, for sharing more and representing your programs and your consortium communities with pride. I look forward to meeting you all virtually or on the road. Can't wait to see you become future business leaders. And with that, take care and have a great evening.